We're rolling?
Oh yeah, we will.
Oh.
At least I hope so. Yeah, we're rolling.
For sure. Alright. We're picking up? Or we're really saying it? Reiterating.
Welcome to Charcoal. My name is,
No need.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. We're here for the message.
Facts. Facts.
We're here for the message. Today's video is based on snacks for dinner, just as the title states. Snacks being instant gratification over long-term satisfaction.
Over long-term satisfaction.
Instant gratification in our modern day being social media, lust, greed.
Fast money. You know? Nothing wrong with making money like a little quickly or in big lump sums. I think it's kind of obvious when we talk about like what fast money is.
Specifically, yeah. Then the other side of the coin, the duality of it being long-term satisfaction, your day-to-days that keep you a lifted soul, meditation, hydration,
Proper nutrition.
Proper nutrition, I was gonna say balanced diet,
Yeah.
proper nutrition for sure. And just staying the purity, indulging in the purity of life. You know, you only eat one dinner per day. You can have as many snacks as you like. However, which one is gonna bring you to that center of fullness? Right?
No, definitely. I feel like both metaphorically and physically, snacks are easier to obtain, right?
Absolutely.
So that's what makes snacks so appealing. Also, snacks tend to taste good. You know, it's not like our food and our dinner doesn't taste good, right? But snacks tend to hit like certain parts of our palate that make it more enjoyable, more exciting, dopamine rush, and like
more enticing.
Yeah, you know, definitely more enticing sometimes than like chicken and potatoes.
Chicken and potatoes is much more time consuming to make than me walking to the 5-minute deli down the street and picking up some chicken flavored Cheetos.
You know,
chicken flavored.
All the snacks are. It's funny you say that because all the snacks are like the flavors.
Flavored over dinner. That's not a coincidence whatsoever. Bro, there used to be these chips that I used to eat way back in summer camp. They were from Fridays or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they were potato skin flavored chips.
Wait, yeah, the chips were Fridays, Fridays partner branded chips. Yeah. You know, I always used to see those potato skins on the menu at Fridays. I'm like, what kind of fucking person eats this?
Oh, me.
You know what I'm saying?
You just ran into one.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, before I took my diet more seriously, used to indulge in a potato skin.
And the potato skins or the potato skins chips?
Both.
Aren't chips just... No, I'm joking. Chips aren't potato skins, but...
Good point. I saw the avenue.
Yeah.
It was a roadblock at the end of it.
Yeah.
Turned back around. It was like, oh yeah, that in joke right there.
Yo.
Nevertheless.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I will be speaking from the point of understanding the overall nature of both. Well, we as we will be speaking from the overall nature of both. And honestly, give them a little insider of what your day-to-day has been from the standpoint of instant gratification and what that's looked like.
Well, I think it's cool if I just start off deep.
For sure. For sure. There's nothing wrong with that.
I feel like instant gratification normally, like, we overlook it because most of the time we think instant gratification can only exist in these very obvious ways or these very obvious moments in our life. Like, I don't want to hold out on finding the right partner to love, right?
Okay.
Or I don't really feel like.
Wait, my bad, bro.
No, you're good.
Okay. You don't want to hold out on the right partner, bro.
Like, if I want love now, or I'd rather not sacrifice my time to learning a new language that I really want to learn. Because I want to do other things like hang out, play video games, doom scroll. And like, my day to day, you know, we live in Miami, right?
We're giving locations?
Yeah, we give them like it's a little bit.
Okay, yeah. So we live in Miami.
Where it's sunny.
Specifically, the city.
Yeah,
down. Oh, damn. Oh, yeah.
Well,
Specifically,
yeah,
Miami.
the city. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
But here, it's like it's for the most part, it's always sunny. It's always beautiful. There's always a reason to go outside, and I'm a nature boy. I love being outside.
Me as well.
But I find like a lot of times, like in my life currently, utilizing both my age, what's going on in the world at the current time, I find myself inside all the time. You know, and it's, well, I can't say I don't want to be inside because I do. What am I doing inside? I'm getting to like my hobbies. I'm researching on the computer. I'm taking notes. I'm doing my personal study. And sometimes I look outside and I'm like, yo, I really want to go outside. And at those times I will take my stuff outside, but there comes a certain point, a threshold where you need to be back in your space to actually get down to some serious work.
And cultivate the ideas and actualize them.
Of course, without distraction.
Correct.
The thing when you
that's the thing with outside.
Yeah.
Continue down that road,
you know,
for sure.
So I just feel like, and you know, staying in terms of instant gratification, lately within my day to day, I feel like the way I face this is like having to sacrifice my time. You know, the time that I would love to spend, you know, a bit more leisurely, I spend it inside. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't make it sound like I hate being inside, because I genuinely love being inside my house.
Absolutely.
Like, I love being inside my house. It's just I also love being outside, right? Just as equally. And where this conversation can be very simple or very complex or whatever, it's like, yo, bro, a kid wants to go outside for real. You know, whatever outside means to you, you know? And for me, outside literally means going outside the door and like being outside, being outdoors, seeing the sunlight, feeling the breeze. You know, going to a farmer's market, just doing whatever and socializing with the rest of humankind. But in order for me to get to the place that I want to arrive at, you know, I have to lock in. You know, I have to lock in, and not just like lock in speech, like actually sit down and lock in day after day, week after week, sometimes month after month for an entire period of my life. You know, and it could just feel like I'm just like isolating away from all my friends. I barely talk to any of my family. You know, get a call with my sister every once in a while, but it feels like I'm this black sheep. But it really, and sometimes it gets a little annoying, but then the way I look at it is just like, I really am holding out on like the smaller pleasures for the long term, and I've already seen what not doing that results, so I don't really have a problem living my life this way. You know?
There's so many points that I was just bookmarking in my head as far as that. Well said overall.
Thank you.
The first point I definitely want to dive into is the one that comes to mind more frequently, which is how when you're inside, you create this constant ambiance within yourself, especially if you're by yourself or you live alone. And with that constant ambiance that you create, it's not being taken away from you by distractions of what outside brings, which was to your point. That's how we lock in, by not being distracted, right? The nature of locking in is blocking out everything else and locking in within self.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when a lot of us say we're about to lock in, it's like, do we really understand what that means, though?
What the term means.
What the term means, locking in within self. Being able to hone in on whatever is already established within yourself to be able to sprout out and blossom into something greater. For when you get out of that lock in, you're someone either completely different or just evolved in that nature. right? So that's one point that.
I feel like when it comes to locking in specifically,
Yeah.
sometimes people forget the actual reason for locking in. What I mean by this is, some people need to lock in because they don't have a dollar to their name, and they've been procrastinating with their free time. So you need to get busy, you know? If you have to get the 9 to 5, lock in and go get a job, you know? I don't prefer jobs, but I've worked many of them. And if I ever have to ever again in my life, I always will. You know, because it's not about the job, it's about, you know, my will and what I want to do in this world. But I mean, some people just like have everything they kind of want already, but are still telling themselves to lock in. So what exactly do they even mean when they say they want to lock in? And I feel like sometimes people know they need to lock in when it comes to just, you know, really simple, taking care of yourself. Like, take fucking care of yourself. Like, just take some care of yourself.
Yeah,
like,
you said earlier that even the fact of you staying inside so you can arrive at that nature, that wasn't to say, and I don't want to speak for you, so you can let me know. I believe, from my perspective, that wasn't to say that you're not already at a point of appreciation. It's more so from a standpoint of understanding that there's so much more to do in the journey of arriving.
Yeah.
A lot of times it gets misconcepted that you're trying to arrive somewhere other than where you're at, when it's more so about just evolving.
And how you feel about where you're at.
Yeah.
Because you can't ignore that no matter how hard you try.
Correct. And as two men doing great things in life and being able to actualize whatever we put our mind to, arriving in this sense is more so of continuously formulating different ideologies that align with the future. Because there's going to be the future is inevitable. You have to continuously arrive at a different standpoint. Today is Tuesday, and we have to arrive to Friday, God willing.
Inshallah.
You know? It's January. We have to arrive to December to be able to complete the year.
Yeah.
Right?
And I just feel like, too, you know, I'm not sure if the term initiation, like, rings a bell to you. I could be pulling this one out my ass.
What
really.
standpoint? Let's see.
But like, there's also a book called The Initiation. I can't remember the author.
Mm-hmm.
But like, the initiation is a term used in many different realms of life.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like in order for something to be initiated, something has to be finished, maybe, or something has to have come to a certain point. I don't know, maybe like looking for the words to try to express this. But like, I feel like when it comes to like arrival, you could maybe never arrive anywhere. So like, it really just like it kind of depends on like what you feel about what you're doing. And I feel like when it comes to short-term gratification, our life and like the world that we live in is designed to only sell us like various moments, lifestyles, and thought patterns that are equal to short-term gratification, even if it doesn't like necessarily seem like it, you know?
Even in that same point, right? You're saying initiation. Initiation is a word with so many offsprings. It could be, you said completion?
Yeah, it could be the death of something before it
or it could be an entrance. You're initiating yourself into a system that could allow you to be initiated into another system. So it could be a constant initiation into different patterns, like you were saying, different thought processes. So I see it also as not only a completion, but an entrance into just that standpoint, entrance into.
Yeah, and I think we should also like touch on like the obvious trap of short-term gratification and like the obvious trap of snacks. Like, we relate it, like, you know, we're eating some candy right now, and like me, I can do whatever I want to do. Genuinely. You know, I really can. And so can you. You know? But if whatever you want to do ends up deteriorating you over time and you're not happy with the result, what's the point? You know, I go to the gym most days. We both go to the gym together, and it's like, you know, I want some candy. But in the long term, it can actually work out. It can't, because like I'm eating candy for a bit of short-term gratification of dopamine. You know, I feel my little sweet tooth. You know, not to say that you should never have pleasurable moments in life or anything like this, but the patterns and the way that you treat the smallest things in your life and the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So if you're always in like a pattern of like just gratifying yourself at every desire you have, the moment you have it, you're building up a mindset of short-term gratification and release from that thinking pattern. And like some of the repercussions of this is really just like stagnancy in life. You know, you'll always want to be somewhere else, but it's your thought patterns and then the behavior that follows those thought patterns as to why you cannot get there. And you'll feel like it's the system, it's them, or whatever that's causing you. Your past, your wounds, your trauma that's like stopping you from getting to the next point, but it's really just most of the time like lack of discipline. You know, a lack of discipline is normally from a lack of perspective onto the true power of withholding and showing restraint towards the various temptations in life in order to get to where you need to go.
Even from that standpoint, right? Both in the same nature of snacks and dinner, instant gratification, and long-term enjoyment are supposed to give you this overall sensation of happiness and fulfillment. You finish a bag of chips, you may be fulfilled for the moment, unless you smash another 3 bags. And with the dinner, that steak may hit. Regardless, you're still in pursuit of something that can be and will be fulfilled or may not be in the same sense. And that's what is just the ribbon for the whole act of what we're articulating. What avenue of happiness, because in the same sense, happiness is still temporary. It's a temporary emotion, just like pain, disgust, fear, pride. All of these are temporary emotions that will be weathered throughout the timeline of life. It's just understanding the balance between the two. No one's saying a good snack is not bad. As you see, we're indulging.
Yeah.
As you see. However, you eat too many snacks and you're not going to have a fulfilling dinner.
Eat too many snacks and you're a fat ass.
That's all it is.
You know?
That's all it
And
is.
you can be a mental fat ass too. It's pretty obvious of what that means. You know, it's we live in a society of like constant consumption.
Absolutely. That's another part of it.
And once you pass a certain age, it's really your responsibility to like take note of these things and really show intent, you know, from the music you listen to. And the short-term gratification mindset goes into every little like facet of your life. But really, like you're saying about happiness, it will affect your overall happiness when you don't know how to enjoy things. Because most of the time, what causes us to enjoy things is duration of process, whether sometimes we like it or not. You know, you suck at a sport, you practice a sport, you get better, you compete, you win. You know, it hits a lot different than if you're just good at the sport, used to winning. Because then one day you're gonna lose and it's gonna crush you because you're just used to winning. Not saying that like it shouldn't be good to just win out the gate. If you win out the gate and maintain your winning, win. You know? But for the majority of people on earth, no one started out just winning. And anyone who tries to make it seem that way is probably telling a story. You know? Because if everyone started out as winning, there wouldn't be so many problems on earth. We wouldn't have poverty, probably wouldn't have war, because everyone would just be winning. You know, so duration exists in everyone's life, like prolonged like journey before you get to the access, or before you become able to access whatever it is you want to access, exists for most, and if not all people, no matter where they're born, how they're born, who they're born from. Problems just are different. The concept of short-term gratification, right, and how you either let that take effect or don't let that take effect in your life remains the same, ultimately.
Well said, for the most part. There's this artist named Devin Hendricks. He has this really good song. I believe it's called 1989 or something like that. He samples the Miguel, Girl with the Tattoo. We'll play it after this. It's definitely gonna hit. But he has a line that it goes, "If winning isn't everything, then why do we keep score?" And my perspective that I get from that is, yes, it's amazing to win. At the same time, though, in the same notion, it's also pretty entertaining to play the game as a whole. Some don't even play the game.
What else are you gonna do?
What else are you gonna? We were talking about this earlier at the gym. We could just sit on the sideline, you know, with a thumb in our mouth, or we could play. We could lose. We could win. However, you're still gonna be acknowledged. I kid you not. People clown professional athletes that are starting on a team and say that they're terrible and they suck and all these things. And
at the professional highest level.
At the highest level, they suck. And kid you not, everybody that is on a professional team isn't the best at times. However, they have the mind for it. They have the ability, they have the capability to keep up with the surrounding colleagues that are actually actively playing the game, to the point where they can be utilized as not a player from this standpoint, but just for development, to help the team grow stronger. Everybody in the village is not able to carry 2 tree logs down the river. However, those who are active in the village and are a asset to the village itself are able to incorporate themselves in the development of it, in the development of winning, in the development of evolution, right? So I said all that to say that is the essence of both snacks and dinner, the evolution of understanding your consciousness towards your consumption of both. That's all we can do is consume and create. We have to consume to be able to create. I believe that. I will stay cemented as that.
As they say, there's nothing new under the sun. You know.
What we're doing is not the newest thing ever. We were speaking about this off camera, but it is our ideology of what we believe it is to be.
And that is charcoal.
Thank you. Well said.